Everyone, it's 28th of March 2025. I'm Gary Waterman, a former UK police constable. I just wanted to show you my TikTok account and the fact that they are allowing my latest videos to be completely unsuppressed according to this. I've got one uploading at the moment, but on the top right there are over 153,000, bottom middle left, sorry, 49,000, and then in the middle there 98,000. Now this hasn't happened with any of my other videos. Okay, the only one that happened with before was when I was calling for a strike. Now, they are controlling all information, including TikTok, and the control of the flow and the flow of the information. So what this tells me is that whatever it is these people have planned, they already have everything in place in preparation if necessary. Okay, so I'm trying to proceed very cautiously moving forward, and I'm trying to ensure that I consider all of the risks to everybody in proceeding. Now, of course, there's a lot of potential threats and risks to people in all of this. We're all aware of the information flying around of a threat from groups that have come over to Western nations that could be potentially here to harm us. I suspect that's a deception. Potentially those people have also been deceived to believe that that's what they need to do, but they will also be victimized, okay? They need to understand this. We have a satanic group of individuals behind this, and therefore it's the ultimate deception. Now, whether it's the threat from directed energy, which certainly appears to be a serious, considered and evidenced threat against humanity, and whether they're going to maybe try and use that against humanity during any event, I'm not too sure. And this is why I'm moving forward cautiously. And I'm advising that everybody needs to disable the directed energy threat within the cell towers and any other electromagnetic frequency emitting devices before. Because I really do think that they could be used in an attack against humanity in relation to all of this. The other potential threat is, of course, larger weapons they may have and advanced technology weapons. You know, the evidence suggests that there's weather manipulation technology. I've heard information of earthquake-causing technology, of technology that may be able to affect the poles and shift the poles deliberately. I mean, it's difficult to discern how much of that is absolutely true, but on a more basic level, obviously, a threat could be with one of those first two things that we discussed. So I just wanted to show that they're allowing this evidence to be publicized for some reason. And my advice is to disable the cell towers and the threat from the directed energy, and then strike by staying at home, okay, as an international working strike and stopping paying bills and taxes as soon as possible. This is what I've been advising, and this needs to happen as soon as possible. Now, there is information, and there has been for months, to suggest that when these people are ready, they will cause a blackout to fit with falsified biblical prophecy. So it says within the scripture about 3 days of darkness. Okay, they may use that as an opportunity then to take action against people, okay, against the masses. And there's a suggestion that they'll tell everybody not to answer the door when this happens. Keep yourself locked in. Well, that's all very well, unless you have the military and the police, who we know are involved in this satanic international criminal system. Okay, and I hope it's not all of them. I hope I'm not the only one that's not involved in this, that was in the police. So, of course, if you then have military and police coming to your houses who you're going to trust, then and they're involved, then that becomes a serious threat to humanity. So my advice is that you form local groups, not through the social media that is compromised, and you unite in groups, okay, with people you can share the evidence with, and you can establish a collective strategy, disable the technology, and strike, okay? Not necessarily stay at home, but just strike from work and stop paying your company bills and all of your taxes and wait, okay? Now, of course, if you're not going to be paying your bills, that means the money you're not paying, you're not acquiring from working, it's going to assist with that. Okay, and what we really need to do is just use this as leverage. It's peaceful, it's legal, and it will be effective, I assure you, if enough people take part. Now, it's clear that many other people and groups have been set up specifically as part of the collaborative deception and attack potentially against humanity. Now, this is a group that I featured earlier, and the reason I've mentioned this group is because they've gained very quick traction, so they're being allowed to gain the followers. Okay, and it's led by a guy called Rich, and here he is, and they're calling for an international strike, not an international one, a national strike, I believe, for one day on the 24th of May 2025. And I sent a few messages, got no response. So I then publicised a video of my concern regarding this group, which prompted a reaction. Okay, and Rich and I had communication. So this was on Saturday, so 6 days ago, and we had a voice conversation. Initially, there was a couple of missed calls, and then we had a voice call. And I don't think I've got how long that call's. Oh, there we go, 28 minutes. You can just see it there. And during this conversation, I'm sorry, Rich, but I have to disclose what Rich told me. So he claimed that he was ex-military and involved in the intelligence side of things, and that during the COVID situation, he was actually positioned at number 10 and Parliament. And whilst there, he openly witnessed cocaine being used by members of Parliament within the buildings there. He also claimed that minibuses of children were taken to the location and dropped off and never seen again. Now, he also claimed... Oh, sorry, let's just get rid of this. He also claimed that he was aware of the satanic connection and that he was aware of the threat from directed energy against humanity. So, of course, I said to Rich and asked the obvious question, well, what are you hoping to achieve by a strike? And he says his sole purpose is to unite people. And I said, well, why aren't you using that event to create leverage to change? Now we know what the problem is. And I explained the company's house fraud. And his concern was you can't tell people everything because they won't be able to deal with it. And we both agreed that this is a critical time with the threat from a satanic group that have access to energy weapons. So I explained the critical urgency of this to Rich and said, look, let me know, because this is very, very important. And as far as I'm aware, Rich has not disclosed to the public what he knows of the satanic element in this and the threat from directed energy. Okay? Now, the people need to know the truth. If that's a threat, then they need to know that threat. So anyway, we had this conversation. I then sent the video of this, a video of the evidence that I'd published in relation to his group that I was concerned. And this is what I put on the message which I'd publicised. I've now spoken to the presenter of the Great British National Strike. He's explained that his simple aim for the strike on the 24th of May is to bring people together and then, if necessary, hold another strike. There are no specific measures being suggested to be implemented as a result of the strike. He is concerned that people will not be able to cope with the full scale of the truth of what has been happening yet. I've explained that I feel time is critical, as those involved may well be planning very sinister attacks against the masses now. They are fully exposed, as indicated by changes within Companies House, their refusal to even respond, and the growing evidence of the satanic connection. My view is that the simple basis of the fraud as leverage to change by the use of a sustained strike cannot wait. I have now acquired evidence appearing to link Companies House fraud to the families of the black nobility, the Vatican, and therefore their complicity in the international abuse and serious crimes against children. This latest evidence also links the threat from directed energy to the Vatican and what appears to have been a one world order to normalise crimes against children. I'm going to send that later. So that was sent at 1638, and the little cursor was blocking the ticks, so I'm just going to show it further down here. 1638, and you can see Rich, there's 2 ticks by Rich is the message that I've sent with Rich. So therefore that confirms, I understand, that it's been delivered and read. I then sent a further message to Rich, which is, if I can find it, which is here. And this was sent, wasn't today, it was when I screenshot this, which was maybe 3 days ago, 4 days ago, I can't remember. Hi Rich, I hope you're well. I have to be frank, as there is so much at stake here. You have stated that you are aware of the threat from directed energy and the connection to Satanism and child trafficking and all of this, and yet you are arranging for large groups to be in specific locations at specific times, making them potential targets to directed energy. You do not appear to have mentioned the obvious fraud and these other subjects, and have no measures being suggested as a result of the strike. If I have missed something, then please let me know. But with your specific background and these other matters, I am concerned. Please allay these concerns if you can. Now, Rich had already at that point appeared to block me. There's only one tick, and there is still only one tick. That suggests on WhatsApp that I've been blocked. Now, of course, this raises and supports my concerns that I had about the group. Okay, so they're calling for an international strike for 1 day with no measures in locations that exposes anybody involved in them. Now, this is a more recent screenshot showing that the numbers have grown. And in one of his latest videos, he states that there are almost 100,000 followers through the different social media that he has in place. And you can see he's actually confirming locations, specific locations to meet on the 24th of May. But of course, there's no need to meet in locations. Okay, people can strike at home or just be told to stop working as a form of protest. And here you can see other locations. So the point of this is, I suspect this group is compromised and shows how worried the international governments are. So I suspect they are positioning other groups to suggest the same as a strike to buy time, okay, for their plans, but also potentially allow groups that would stand up to the government to be targeted. So I have a moral duty to let you know my concerns. So there they are. Thank you very much. Take care, everybody.